So if you'll notice, I put a towel down so that I could rinse the brush off on it rather than my fingers. And our swirl is dry. The problem is when I thought I was recording, I wasn't recording the yellow inside the flowers. So I used the Cotman fine point to go back and paint in the yellow areas of the flowers. And I usually work out from yellow through orange up in like a rainbow fashion. So, and then on the leaves, I base coated one side with yellow, just a quick, not filling up the whole thing, but just a quick bit of color using the silver brush. And I just put yellow on one side, and then I went back and I put the light green on the other side. So to finish off the brushes, to finish off the leaves, I'm going to show you the different ways I do leaves. I actually finished the leaves on this and then realized that it wasn't filming. So I'm going to show you how to do the leaves on this one, and a couple different ways that you could choose to do the leaves differently. So how I usually do leaves is add yellow to one side, and I try to keep it consistent. And then I add a light green on the other, and I let that dry. It doesn't have to be perfect here because you're going to go over it with a darker green. Another way you can do leaves is add a base coat of light green, or a base coat of yellow, and then we'll add details over the top of that. You could also wet the leaf first, and then add your coloring in so that the water flows around it. And put in your yellow and work really wet. What you're trying to create is on this effect is to make the leaf look like it's curved. Always remember you can lift paint out. You do that by cleaning your brush, taking almost all the water off, and then going over the top of the area you want to lift the paint from. Sometimes like that is stained, but that some paints stain. So you have to be aware of which paints, watercolor paints, you have that stain the image. All right, I'm going to let this dry. Okay, so we're going to make these leaves look three-dimensional by adding a darker green down the center. You're sort of outlining the leaf, and then you'll go back in and soften those edges. So that's how it starts. And you'll go back with a clean, sort of wet brush, slightly wet brush, and just soften the edge. And that creates a kind of curve. And you can do that on each leaf. And that's how you do that leaf. Now on these two, I'm also going to do the little outlining, but then I'm going to do something a little bit different. See, and I'll do this one too. So this leaf looks a little bit more maybe younger than this leaf because of the yellow tints in there. But what you can also do is go back in with your green, one of your greens. I'm going to use that olive kind of tone there, and add darker areas on some of the lines. This just gives it a little bit different look. Kind of a more contemporary look, I guess. I did not do this on the journal. I did this basic leaf on the journal. I'm just trying to give you options to try. You know, you choose what you like. You could also go with one side dark and one side light. You'll notice that this is the same green that I put on these edges, but it looks better on when you layer colors under it. It adds a vibrancy. That's why watercolor is so wonderful, is that you can layer like that and get vibrancy. But you could do something really simple like that, where you put one color on one side and another color on another side. If you wanted to go real pastel, you could use your light green and just add a touch of the darker green. So that's the way you do leaves.